Does God approve multiple wives, or is God okay with polygamy? There's a lot of people in this world that would say so. They will always go back to the Old Testament. They will always use great men of God like Abraham, Jacob, Solomon, David, and they would say they had multiple wives, so it must be okay for me to have multiple wives.
In the Bible, when you talk about David, when you talk about Solomon, the the wisest person in all of earth, he had the most wives anybody has ever had, and concubines.
The truth is, those great men of God, they did have multiple wives, they had multiple concubines, right? But I think, when you read their stories, you will see that it brought a lot of jealousy, division, and pain. And, we get confused on what God allows and what God approves. I think a lot of times us, we try to find excuses. Definitely dealing with multiple women and multiple wives, we try to find excuses to please our flesh, and we'll go to the Bible and say, hey, look, David, Solomon, look at all these great men of God, these great men of faith. They had multiple wives, so it must be okay for me to have multiple wives.
Now it's his current love life that's in the spotlight.
Are you okay with my referring to it as polyamory?
Sure.
How do you define it? What does it mean?
So there's a few titles that I guess make sense, but we don't really rock with the titles. I'm in a relationship with 4 beautiful women. We are in love. We're building on a team. We're a team. We are a unit.
What is your relationship with them?
I love them, and it's like they're my girlfriends. It's like, we have a relationship. It's real. And I know guys, I've known guys all my life to have 5 or 6 women, okay? So don't go there on me, okay? Because that's the truth.
My polygamy doesn't necessarily correlate to any religious beliefs. It was something that I did come across in some research on how tribes and kingdoms were built, where a king had multiple queens, and each wife played an intricate part in that king's life and in building and growing the kingdom. And it interested me.
We're looking at what man did and not what God is saying and has said. The original design is that a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife. Notice the word says wife, it doesn't say his wives. It says a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two. Didn't say 3, didn't say 4, didn't say 5, didn't say 6, didn't say 500, 700, 800. It said the two, the man and the woman, the two shall be one flesh. Now that was in Genesis. Now later on, Jesus said the same thing when they asked him about divorce. He said, haven't you read the scriptures that a man shall leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh? And whatever God has joined together, let no man separate. If you keep on reading, you will see that Apostle Paul said that a bishop must have one wife, because we're looking at the original design of God. I think a lot of people in today's time, they always go back to Abraham, David, and Solomon, and all these great men of God. They use that as an excuse to please their flesh, not digging deeper into scripture and seeing that all of these men that had these multiple wives, it didn't really end well. If we look at King Solomon, we see that he had the kingdom divided because of what he did. If we look at David, he had one of his best friends killed, and his son died because of what he did. If we look at Abraham had to send his baby mama and his son away. So a lot of these stories didn't have great outcomes. People are so focused on them having multiple wives that they're forgetting that they're missing the problems that come with it, and why God doesn't allow that. Why God's original design is that a man leave his father and his mother and cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. We have to understand the difference between what God approves and what God allows or tolerates. Is what I'm saying making sense? If it's making sense, comment down below if you understand what I'm saying. I think we live in a time today, or just in general, where people try to find a way out, where people try to find a way to justify their sin. I think a lot of people, they do things knowing that what they do is wrong deep down, but they try to find a way to justify it. especially dealing with this topic, because there's a lot of people who always point back that I know personally that it point back to David, King David and Solomon and all these great men in the Bible, but they use that as the way to justify their sin. They use that as a way to rationalize their sin rather than repenting of their sin, to make them feel better. So we live in a world where men and women are praised for having multiple partners. Satan has so smoothly flipped the script and deceived us with the word. That's crazy. If anybody know the word better than you and me, just know it's Satan. I mean, he used it in the beginning with Adam and Eve. He deceived Eve by using the word. Did God really say? And later on, when he tried to deceive Jesus, when he tried to tempt Jesus, he used the word again. So Satan knows the word very, very, very good, and he uses it against us.
How many wives did David have?
And he had tons of wives.
How many concubines did he have?
Tons of them, because his son Solomon had 3,000.
Yeah, come on now.
3,000.
So for those people who see a situation like this and they say, oh, Ken, that's the Old Testament. This the New Testament.
So we have to be careful when we're reading scripture and understand it, and not let the devil tempt us or deceive us when reading it. Try to use it as an excuse to do something that we want to do, but we know deep down is wrong. Definitely dealing with this topic right here. So the question, does God approve multiple wives? What does he say about polygamy? Does he approve it? The answer is no, he does not. Why? Because God has said from the beginning that a man shall leave his father and his mother, and he shall cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. Until next time, I'll see y'all.